vuelta y vive. Gotta live, gotta breathe, gotta eat, gotta dar la vuelta y vive.
All right, pues empezamos con el programa Dar la Vuelta y Viva. We're here, and we have a very special guest here today. But first of all, I want to go ahead and thank Exter, our sponsor that you can use as a gift for your dad, for your special guy. So this wallet right here is the perfect wallet because it gives you the opportunity just to use what you need, hombre. You need 5 cards. You don't need no more than 5 cards. If you got more than 5 cards, you got issues. Okay? So what I like about this is when I show up to a store, boom, I click it, and I can just use the card that I need. ¿Verdad? And then you have for the GP. Oh, it has a GPS also on there. You lose it, you're able to find it with your phone. So this is extra, huh? And vice versa. How?
The actual card itself, like if you click the button.
Oh, yes. So it has a little card right here, and you click it, and then your phone rings, so you can find it. You know, in the mornings when you lose shit, you can always find it. So Extra is a sponsor, is one of our main sponsors for Da La Vuelta y Vive. We thank you so much. So Victor will play a commercial, and use the code La Cruzada Radio. You're going to get 40% off. All right, so we have a very special guest here today. Why? Because, anytime we talk about the history of music, the history of our music, la música tejana, la música, we get confused a lot. Like, what is Tejano music? What is Chicano music? What is this? What is that? Well, you know what? At the end of the day, there was just a few pioneers of la música nuestra. And so we're talking about en los tiempos de Paulino Bernal, en los tiempos de Ramón Ayala. So, you can talk about all these people because they were based here in the Valley. But one person that comes to mind right off the bat, especially because he was so huge during the urban cowboy phase. If it's the people that are my age, you remember urban cowboy, because everybody wanted to be urban cowboy. So in those days, man, this music came in. Well, chinga, here we are, years later, and we have René. And then give me your last name, brother. Gonzalez. René Gonzalez, grandson of the great country Rollin'. Right? All right. So let's talk a little bit about René, about the band.
Okay.
The name of the band, first of all.
Okay. Well, the name of the band, we, in honor of my granddad, after he passed away, we decided to change the name, and we went to our fan base, and actually several of them threw it out. Like, what would be a good name? We threw a few out there, and then the one that kept coming back was Kikker Daddy Legacy. Because my granddad was also known as the Kikker Daddy here in the Valley. So we figured that would be a really good way to pay tribute and homage to him.
And now that I'm remembering the Kikker Daddy, do you know where the kicker comes in from?
Was Kikker. So the story goes, there was a TV personality that my granddad did a show with one time.
Okay.
And he says, during the interview, it was Romeo Sanchez.
Uh-huh.
He says, tú eres un Kikker Daddy, because las muchachas, like los baby, they were the country rolling baby dolls, right? So,
Okay.
I was not baby dolls, the country rolling, right? So he says, eres un Kikker Daddy porque tienes toda su familia aquí, pero también porque eres el padre de Kikker aquí en el Valle. So, I mean, that's how it goes. And I guess back in the day, Urban Cowboy came in a little bit before that. I mean, you were in high school, everybody was a kicker, with the boots and the pickup trucks and the hats and stuff like that. So that's how I think, or that's what I think.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, the kicker was the urban cowboy.
Yes, sir.
I mean, because you have your real cowboys, and then you have your kickers, and the kickers really are, the trucks and the I'll say, no que se oiga mal, ¿verdad? But the wannabe cowboys, you know.
The drugstore cowboys.
Yes.
The Coca-Cola
Yes,
cowboys.
the ones that don't get on the horses and don't get on the bulls, especially the bulls, man, because nobody wants to get on a bull, man.
Hell no.
But yeah, so he was the kicker daddy. So now you got kicker daddy
Legacy.
Okay, so we're talking about a legacy that, man, you got some big shoes to fill. So talk to me a little bit about what Rene Gonzalez and the Kicker Daddy legacy is doing. One, not necessarily to keep the music going, because the music is never going to go. The music is always there.
It's always there. Yes, sir.
But what are you going to do as Rene and Kicker Daddy legacy to bring to the people and say, you know what? Yes, we got Adelita and we got all these songs that Country Rollin' did, but hey, check us out, man.
Right. So what we're doing is we're staying true to our roots with that music. I mean, we can't go anywhere without, like, I can't go somewhere and think I'm going to not do country rolling songs, you know, especially as the Kicker Daddy legacy. Our goal is to pay tribute and homage, and there's still such a huge calling here in the Valley and throughout Texas for his music. So we're doing that, but we're also throwing in a little bit of me. My granddad, he did this. He was the founder and the father of Tejano country music, what used to be called Chicano country music. So he already did that. I need to carve out a niche for myself, make a name for myself, you know? So I'm staying true, and the band, we're staying true to the roots of what we do, but we throw it in and people comment. They're like, we like what you do. You're doing those songs, but you don't copy or imitate your granddad. You throw in your own little chingaderas, you know?
Yeah.
So and that's what I do. I sing a little bit differently, and then Gori comes in and harmonizes with me. And it's weird because I sing out of feeling. So one night I might sing a verse to Los Laureles differently, but she always comes right in and she goes with me, and it's like a supernatural thing. But basically what we're doing is we're keeping the legacy going, and we're doing our own thing. Judy sings, Gori sings, you know, some of the other band members sing, and we do covers that people like, but also, like, right now we're recording a project with CHR Records with Rick Garcia, and he gave us complete control. You record what you want. You know what your fans like. And I told Gori, so what are we going to do? We're going to sit here and we're going to record another tribute album with the same songs that we do all the time, that we've recorded and my granddad's recorded over and over for companies. It's time to kind of spice it up or change it a little bit. So how we're changing it is we're bringing in songs that were popular for other artists. And it's not a definite right now, but we're thinking, let's do un ronconcito en el cielo, estilo Kicker Daddy.
Wow. Okay.
We want to pay tribute to my granddad, and we want to pay tribute to somebody like Ramon Ayala, who is a legend in his own right, but we also want to do it justice. We don't want to do something that's going to fall flat and be kind of like an insult. So you have to be very careful how you do it. But we throw little teasers out there every once in a while. I'll sing a couple lines, and everybody at our gigs, at our dances, at the venues, they eat it up. So
yeah, because you have, and that's a really good approach to it, because I mean that's in fact what volume that's really interesting, because when if you really think about it, that's what Country Rollin' did.
Right.
He kept a lot of the traditional Mexican songs en ese tiempo, you know, Los Laureles, Adelita, man.
Recuerdo yo.
So now you're pretty much kind of like saying, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing. The key here is to try to figure out which are those songs that are going to stay forever.
That's right.
Let me throw one at you. Maybe you'll use this one. Or maybe you already thought about it. They played in all the clubs at the end of the night, ¿verdad? ¿Cuál es la canción del trago? Los tragos amargos. That would be a freaking badass Kicker Daddy song right there, man.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you really look at it, because at the end of the day, can you imagine doing a gig and you're doing tragos amargos, pero en el estilo de Kicker Daddy? En el estilo de Kicker Daddy legacy.
Yes, sir.
Ya no más, you know, Country Rollin', but now your own legacy, where you're going to leave that going, and do you have kids?
Yes, I have a 17-year-old son.
17-year-old son. Is he doing music or no?
Yes, sir, he is.
Yes.
He went this year he went with his he has a band. He lives outside of Dallas in Athens, Texas, and he competes in FFA with animals, and he's always winning, and placing. But this year they made it to state in the talent competition. He played. We went to Dallas to go watch him, and there was over 17,000 people in that crowd. And my son got up there with his friends in the band that they have, and they knocked it out of the park.
Wow, man!
And he I knew he had the music since he was little, because he'd come over and he'd sit behind the drum set and start playing along with whatever, and he can carry a really good tune. And he had been playing bass for just a few months, and they made it to competition. Kind of like my mom, she had been playing for 2 months, practicing, and then she started in the band when she was 12. My son kind of did the same thing, so he's talented. He's got the
wow, man. So the legacy continues.
Oh yeah, there's so many. There's a bunch of little country rollins in the family, running around.
And that's beautiful, man. Because that's actually we did a show. I did a show right before you got here, and we were talking about the importance of legacies.
Yes, sir.
Because that is what keeps us going, especially when we look at an area that really needs to concentrate on who we are as a society.
Yes, sir.
Is that we cannot let those days just leave us, man.
Well, getting back to what you said, what is our goal or what are we doing? That basically is it's our heritage, and we cannot let that die. It's important of who we are. Hispanics, Mexicans, we have a little bit of all of that, and it is really important. And as I get older and doing this, it is for me. It's something emotional, besides getting up on a stage and singing my granddad's songs,
So you're 45,
Yes, sir.
and you're 45, married? No. Okay. You have a son. You're 45. At what point does Rene realize that? Because you didn't always like your granddad's music, did you?
I can't ever say that I didn't like it. I was always drawn to it since I was little, but I never realized que chingón era my granddad. He was, until a few years ago. I got on one of our YouTube videos that has like 1.2 million views of a song of my granddad's. They were just commenting like este hombre era chingón, and just comments like that. And I had a friend ask me, when did you realize how big your grandfather was? And he asked me that question, and I told him I never did, because to me he was just always my granddad.
He was grandpa.
He was grandpa,
Yeah.
and he was loving, and he was always there, and he would, for me, he never was a big star. He wasn't the founder of Chicano country music. He wasn't country rolling. He was my granddad. And then getting in the band, playing with him, we were just always up there making music and getting through a gig and traveling and stuff. And I didn't realize until I saw that comment, este güey era chingón. And I was like, you know what? I was today years old when I realized how big my granddad was,
Okay, so I'm gonna just have to say this. I have to say this because for all the people that are following us, that we have Gilbert Segura in the house. If you hear that freaking cough, I don't know what happens, but he's just. So he starts coughing, and so that Gilbert Segura. Thank you, Gilbert, for bringing very interesting people to us.
You're gonna hear a lot of that now, because he's part of. He's part of us now, and
Qué bueno. You got a good guy with Gilbert, man. He just likes to cough. He likes to cough when we're in the freaking show. And the sad part about it is that Victor can't take him off. That he can't do. He ain't that good. Well, he does really good. Pero Rene, so I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Kikker Daddy legacy, because, man, I can't even say, like people, some people tell me, man, you got big shoes to fill when they're talking about me, ¿verdad? And I tell them, I'm never going to fill those shoes, man. I mean, my dad is my dad, and he's my hero.
Right.
And and he's my hero even with myself. There's never gonna be anybody that does the microphone behind the microphone like my dad.
Exactly.
And so I'm not trying to fill the shoes. Yeah. I'm doing something that I love, And that's what I see you, man. I see you. I look at you. I can see the love that you have for the music. And then just the idea of you already kind of like going with the same, okay? That takes a lot of guts, man. What your grandpa did took a lot of guts, man. Especially during those days.
Yes, sir.
Especially because no eres de allá, no eres de acá. That's true right there to his heritage.
Right.
When you talk about Chicanos, when you talk about, right now they call them Tejanos.
Right.
No, Chicanos. La gente que era de aquí, de allá, and no los aceptaban.
Right.
Y ahora menos, he's taking a traditional song and then he's doing it in country. It's like, hey, what's this guy trying to do, man? I imagine he went through a lot of freaking issues when he was doing these things, pero he had his following. He started growing. The people started getting used to it. So that's what you gotta come. That's what you. So how ready is Rene Gonzalez and Kikker Daddy legacy? How ready are you for those times that are
I'm
coming?
ready. I'm ready. Growing up, I loved being on the road. Whenever we got in the bus and we traveled, you can throw me in a bus and put me on the road and tell me, we're here, it's time to get up and sing. And I could do that for my whole life and be content, be happy. So yeah, I'm ready. It's come full circle and it's time to get it out there again. I feel that there is a big void in it. And getting out of the valley too, like going to the CMAs and performing the way we did a couple of weeks ago. They embraced us with open arms and they loved it. They were like, it's fresh for them, even though we're out there. Go ahead. Where are we going? Where's he going? Right here.
Es que Gilbert lo quiere meter a la cámara. ¿Sale ahí o no?
This is everybody. This is Frank. He's our drummer and production.
Ahí están los dos. All right. So, all right. So right now, before we started, I asked you a question. Again, it falls with this. I mean, without actually knowing. So, do you remember? She won't be on the screen, but I'm gonna ask you. Do you remember your grandpa your dad going through some of that I'm talking about? The
Actually, when you were saying that, I was thinking of, Dad was a very special person that everybody gravitated toward him.
Mhm.
It wasn't anything that was planned. It was all of a sudden one night Dad said, "Okay, we're the Kid G, vámonos," and he started singing. Everybody followed him.
So he never had anybody come and tell him, "Hey man, why are you taking that song and doing this or doing that?"
Everybody, a mix of everybody loved him.
And actually, it started at a time when there was a lot of segregation in the valley. You had this man singing country music in Spanish, taking rancheras and making them country, and taking country songs and
that's why I'm freaking out that you're saying that he didn't.
He always said how do you say it? It was never an uphill battle.
And
it was always just chugging along.
And that's important. That's important to actually look at because, without knowing and without being able to ask them, ¿verdad? When we have people that kind of remember all of that, it's important to maybe even consider that maybe it's just us that put these barriers, man.
I think we do.
¿Me entiendes? And it's like, okay, ¿sabes qué? Let me forget the barriers and let me get out there and follow in the same legacy. I mean, because that's what a legacy does. You follow in the same tradition and you follow in and that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So this project that you're working on right now, what can we expect?
You're gonna get country rolling, but it's gonna be vamped up. It's gonna be a little bit more. Some of it's gonna be a little bit more progressive, which we are. Like on our first project, people would say we love it. It's old, but it's new, and it's a little bit peppier. It's more modern. We are staying true to our roots. There are some songs that I want the ranchera melody to be there with the twangy guitar, the steel guitar, the fiddle. But there's some songs that it's just gonna be like some really good country music in English and Spanish.
So you're producing. You're producing part of it, or
For the live performance.
Live.
for the live production? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, Rick Garcia basically is
Rick Garcia is gonna
he's
be
the CEO
producing.
of CHR, and we're signed to him, and he's pretty much.
So you already have all your project. You have what 10 songs or what?
Well, actually, we really don't have the whole project yet. And I think it works. It works that way. Like we had an idea when we first started, and we knew what we wanted to do. We kind of had a little difficult about picking the songs, and then we played a tocada, a private gig, and it was for a friend of mine, and he yells out "Albur de Amor."
Mm-hmm.
I know the song, ranchera, mariachi, and I knew all the words, so I said, "Just follow me." And it was actually like an acoustic set that night. It was our lead guitarist, my mom and I, and Gori. And I just started with a country rolling beat, and I sang it. And he was like, "Wow!" And I said, "You know what? It was magical. We all got goosebumps. It was perfect." And I said, "We got to put that song on the album, and we're gonna put that song on the album."
Oh wow!
And then there was another song too, "Solamente una vez," that we did live at a show, and in a week we had over 20,000 views on that.
I can imagine.
And I said, "How people love this." And then there was a story of another friend of ours that was a long time supporter of the band back in the days of my granddad. And I sent her a little clip of the rough work tape of that song that I had done. And she calls me or texts me crying like, "Oh my God, puro llorar. Puro llorar." Her father used to request that song. They went to every country roll and dance. So he would request Solamente una vez, and my granddad would dedicate it to her father and her mother, and they would dance it. So stories like that, like how can you not include a song like that, especially when it has, which we get that a lot from everybody.
And you're going pretty far back. I mean, so you're you're giving that country rolling feel because you're still going. Solamente una vez is an old song, ¿verdad? But now you're saying, you know what? Let me kind of try to do some of the newer stuff and put como tragos amargos. I don't know why se me viene en la mente tragos amargos. Imagínate at the end of the night.
Puño de tierra.
Ándale. So if you were to push, or why don't you look for something como, ¿cuál es la de Emilio Navaira, brother? Donde bailan así que le hacen. No, Roma.
I can't. It's on the tour.
Que le hacen. No sé.
We'll find it, we'll find it.
Pero es como te digo, like if you go with something as new as that and do it and give it that como dices twang, that you know, and man, you have something good, man.
Gracias a Dios.
Dale para adelante, René, and the only thing I can tell you, man, is una, you know, again, like we talked about, it's not about filling the shoes. It's about keeping the tradition going.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate that, bro.
Thank you.
I really do. I really appreciate that you're doing that, because a lot of people would say, you know what, no, man, he did that. I'm gonna do something different. And you're saying,
I'm gonna lie, I kind of went through that a little bit. Like I was like, I don't want to be the little kicker daddy. You know, hey, there's the little kicker daddy. I didn't want to. First of all, I didn't want people to think that I was trying to be my granddad, because everybody knows that there was only one, and there will only ever have been one country rolling, and that was my granddad.
Yeah.
You know, and for anybody to think that they could be him or imitate him or fill his shoes, no, it's like you said, it's not about that. It's about paying homage and tribute, but doing it a little bit your own way. You know.
yes.
Add something to it, and we're blessed that we're able to do that. You know?
Yeah, because you can never let that go. It always has to be there, and it's actually, like you said, you mentioned a really important word there, homage. We don't have enough of that.
No, not at all.
We don't have enough of that. Mira, I'm blessed that my dad is still alive. I'm blessed that I've been able to work with him by his side for over 20 years, and been able to do what I love. And when he said, you know what, I don't want to do football scoreboard no more, I understand, because we do it at 10 at night. He wants to be in bed, you know. He wants to be watching novelas. That's what he wants to say. Todos dicen que no es que se canse y se tiene que dormir. No, quiere ver novelas. Es lo que quiere.
Well, I totally get that. I mean, my mom, she recently retired the past couple of years. I think she's retired like 4 times in the past 2 years, and we keep bringing her out. Like, you got to be here. Like, we're blessed that we have great musicians that help us bring across what we're doing. But I'll tell you one thing: my mom, she's the first, and she has not gotten that credit. She's the first female bass player in La Onda Tejana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At 12 years old, she started learning how to play the bass, and she's been playing bass for the band since she was 12 years old.
Wow.
How old are you now, mom?
Y está bien chiquitita. Oye, está bien chiquitita y luego para traer el bass así bien grandotote, man.
Well, she has to use a stool now. She's like, they're too heavy. Okay, all right, you can have a stool, mom.
I've been playing for like 50, I'm going to say 54, 55 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I took a short break when I was pregnant with my third baby. But after that, started playing again. I just started playing.
The question is this: do you still play standing up? The 4 hours.
Not the 4 hours.
Le pone así, dice, yo me siento primero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pues I do too.
No, mira, it's so awesome to see that you're keeping the family tradition going. I'm really curious as to what I'm gonna see on your next album. I'm serious. I'm gonna be paying attention to you, and then when you come out with it, I want you to come back, because I really know that there's something about what you have, and I really appreciate it because, and I know a lot of people will appreciate that you're keeping this alive. At the end of the day, and I might have used the words wrong because I said, it's not always negative when people come and try to do something. We were trained, as a matter of fact, Gilbert and myself, we were students of, to me, probably one of the best musicians to come out of the Valley, que es Mr. Benny Layton.
Oh.
So, I already played my instrument before I met Benny, but Benny didn't, I would say, cuando digo yo, no me enseñó a tocar, me enseñó a cómo apreciar.
Right.
So, when the first song that I learned, to play in La Estudiantina, it was 4 of us. It was 3 guitars and a bass. I played the bass, but it was the Tololoche. And we did serenatas because we didn't have the school didn't have the money to pay for none of that stuff. So we had to go out and do serenatas.
Wow.
We did 42 serenatas, I remember. And I had to carry that damn thing, man.
Wow.
Dice, cualquiera lo toca, pero no todo lo cargan. But
That's like my mom. We get everything set up for her, and I'm like, here you go, mama.
yeah,
And everything.
So-
I change the strings, I tune her bass, I hand it to her, ready to go.
So el apreciar la música, más que nada, the first song that we ever learned, right, Gilbert, was Cartas Marcadas. So any student that went through Benny Layton in the city, and cuando murió Benny, no te miento, there was over 350 students with mandolins, guitars, bass, tololoches, guitarrón, you name it, violines.
Family, that the Laytons,
Great,
love them.
great, man.
Love Norfi también, man. They're awesome.
We did 4 songs. The first song that we did was Cartas Marcadas.
Wow.
We did Ojitos Verdes. And down the line, those were the songs that we learned because those were the songs that were important to him.
Yeah.
And por eso te digo, like, keep that going, man. Keep that going because that's what you're gonna leave to your kid, man. What's your kid's name?
Brandon Ramsey Gonzalez.
Brandon Ramsey. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you one more question before we go. And I asked you this a while ago when we were talking. Really important question, I think, for us. Los mexicanos, mexicoamericanos, chicanos, los que pensamos que no somos de allá ni de acá, right? At the end of the day, do you ever see one of us, maybe you, at the Grand Ole Opry?
I do. What
What do you think it'll take, man?
hard work, and a lot of determination. I mean, I know one that's been there with the band that he plays, but if you're talking about somebody that's going to stand in that round circle and sing, hace un año que yo tuve una ilusión, it's going to take a lot. But I think that it's time, and I think that it can happen. Definitely can happen.
You know, it's
always primeramente Dios. It's always,
yeah.
you know,
It's I mean, it's something to hope for.
Yeah.
And you know what? At the end of the day, no digo nada. I mean, porque todas cosas pueden pasar, but it might not be Rene. It might be Ramsey.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be driving the bus for him and collecting at the door.
Because at the end of the day, you know, we don't know. The thing is to try to keep it alive, man, and just bring the music to the people. The people are expecting it, man, and they need it. And I think it's really, really nice that you're doing that for us, man. It's a blessing that one, it's a blessing that you were here in our show.
Thank you for having me.
And it's a blessing that you're doing this for our culture, man.
Well, I made a promise to my granddad, first and foremost, that as long as I could, I would do it. And first and foremost to his fans, because there's still a tremendous calling. And when you go to one of our gigs, it's like a homecoming. We sit there and we talk on the mic like we're in a living room, like what we're doing right now, sing a song, talk here, talk there. You know, everybody says, man, you make us feel like we're on your level. And I'm like, there's no level here. We're all the same.
Yeah.
And we're just there to have a good time and to do it the way my granddad used to do it. And that's how we learned, you know.
So where can our people find Kikker Daddy legacy? You know, they want to go and have a good family time to listen to your music. Where can they go?
Well, I'll tell you one place that's a real good family-oriented time that we play a lot is with our friends at Ranch House Burgers in Mission or Westlaco. We always have a great time. They're a great family-owned business as well, and we play there a lot. We do Mustang Lounge. As a matter of fact, I need to get back with Miss Jan on some dates. She's been wanting for a while. But we play all over the place. We play for quinceañeras. We play for weddings. I'll play for your divorce if you want, you know.
All right.
There's the only thing that I really can't do since my grandparents passed away, we used to do it every once in a while, is when people ask, can you come sing at my dad's funeral, or, you know. It's a very very emotional thing.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you can find us anywhere. You can find us on our social media outlets at Facebook under Kikker Daddy Legacy. I just started last month with TikTok and it's blowing up.
Yeah.
Especially after the CMAs and after I opened the newspaper. I didn't even have to open it Saturday. I was thinking, okay, where's it going to be? Where's the story going to be? I'm going to have to look for it. I got the newspaper and it was front page 1A, and we're blessed. We're super blessed.
Qué bueno, man. Good for you. So whenever you get to that point, you're gonna say, chinga, I went to an interview and con Víctor Hugo de la Cruz and Da la Vuelta y Vive, and he gave me the idea of doing Tragos Amargos, chinga, and I did it and freaking hit. Nomás dame un poquito de credit ahí. Dile, hey, ¿sabes qué? Ahí agarramos la idea.
I'll do it. Yes, sir. I have no problem giving credit where credit's due. I have no problem admitting when I was wrong.
Pero, you know, pa adelante, brother. I really, like I said, I'm really excited about what you're doing. And I'm impressed with what I hear. Para comenzar, tiene la voz de tu grandpa.
Thank you. I
appreciate
that.
La voz hablando la tienes, no te he oído cantar, pero we're gonna hear you, Victor. We're gonna look for some music in between. We'll go ahead and play just portions of different music from YouTube, right?
Yeah, we're on all digital platforms.
All digital platforms.
Look for the Legend is the name of the album.
Yeah, so look for Kikker Daddy Legacy. All right. And I, like I said, I expect a lot of good things coming from it. So as you know, one of the things that we talk about aquí en La Vuelta y Vive, it's about what I would do as a parent and what I want to leave my kids. Los ejemplos, what I didn't do in life because of the life that I lived. Now I have the opportunity of leaving this to my kids. So
Al cortar una gardenia se me vino una ramita. Qué bonito es el amor, hasta el sueño se nos quita. Voy a mandarle una carta a mi chata no muy tarde, a ver si le da consuelo a este corazón cobarde. Y si no me la contesta, yo de aquí me voy mañana, pa' que sepa que la quiero, que es la dueña de mi alma.
Take it to the top, never gonna stop. Gotta darle vuelta y vive. I'ma make it last, this is for the facts. Gotta darle vuelta y vive. Tengo que decir, tengo que vivir.